It's not possible. I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
All right. Good afternoon. Pardon, parole board, excuse me, is reconvening. We're at Rayburn Correctional Center. Today is Tuesday, December 14, 2023. It's 12:16 p.m. Would staff at Rayburn please introduce yourself for the record?
Keith Bickham, Deputy Warden.
Carolyn Thomas, Record Supervisor.
And we have Lexi Kennedy. She stepped out of the room right now. She's from classification.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Warden. And we have Mr. Malosso there in front of us. Sir, is that you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Raymond Malone.
Introduce yourself. Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
Raymond Malone, 408346.
Yes. All right, Mr. Malosso. You are classified as a fourth felony offender. You're currently serving a 40-year sentence. You were sentenced possession with intent to distribute heroin in 2013. Also in 2013, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. In January 2014, you were sentenced as a habitual offender for distribution of heroin. And then also in June of 2014, attempted possession of a firearm. Your parole eligibility date was September 2nd, 2023, and your good time date is in 2052. Is all that sound correct to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Your case is assigned to Mr. Roche. Would you answer his questions?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Malosso. How are you?
All right, sir.
Good. Mr. Malosso, you're currently 42 years old, is that correct?
Could you repeat that for me, sir?
You're currently 42 years old, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been convicted of 4 different felonies, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the felony you're now serving a 40 years sentence for is distribution of heroin, and you were billed as an official offender. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what the other 3 felony convictions so far?
Possession of cocaine.
All 3 of them?
Yes, sir. And distribution of cocaine.
So all 4 of your felony convictions dealing with drugs.
Yes, sir.
Were you a drug dealer or a drug user?
I was a dealer, sir.
If you ever used illegal drugs?
No, sir.
So you've never even smoked a marijuana cigarette?
When I was like 16.
And that's illegal. When you were 16, that was illegal. So
Yes, sir.
ask my question again. Have you ever used illegal drugs?
Yes, sir.
You started with marijuana. Did you graduate to anything stronger?
No, sir.
And what did you sell to people in your community?
Heroin and cocaine, sir.
Why didn't you use heroin and cocaine?
I saw the effects of it, the damaging effects of it.
But you still made a livelihood selling the poison to the community, and you knew the effects that it would have on the people that you sold to.
Yes, sir. Yes, it was. It was a terrible decision and poor decision. Yes, sir.
Have you ever had a legitimate full-time job working 40 hours a week, paying taxes?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you did.
I was a truck driver, sir.
And how long did you drive trucks?
I drove trucks for 2 years, sir.
So you're 42 years old, and you were a truck driver for 2 years.
Also, I also worked as a bagger at Winn-Dixie for like 2 years when I was younger, when I was 18, sir.
So what kind of work did you do between the ages of 20 and the time you were incarcerated?
Could you repeat that for me, sir?
What type of work besides driving a truck did you do between the ages of 20 and the time that you were incarcerated?
I worked in the field. I did different labor jobs when I was released.
So you spent a lot of time incarcerated.
Yes, sir.
How long do you think you've been incarcerated out of the 42 years?
Probably like 3 years.
How long you been incarcerated out of,
Altogether.
in the 42 years you've been, how old you are?
Like 18 years.
That's how long you've been incarcerated.
18 years.
You've been incarcerated 10 years this time on a 40-year sentence, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you've been incarcerated 8 years prior to this incarceration.
8 years, like 8 to 9 years, sir. Yes, sir.
So tell me the programs that you've completed in the 10 years of incarceration.
I have cage arrays, sir. GED. Living in balance. Parenting. 100 hours. Problem solving. Anger management. IC3. Serve safe. I have victim awareness, spiritual awareness, government affairs.
First of all, congratulations on earning your GED.
Yes, sir.
And you've been busy. Programs are not your problem. And we're going to get to your problem, your number one problem, a little bit later. Are you a trustee at Rayburn?
No, sir. At the time, I have too much time, but I am. I do work. I work as a stock clerk in the canteen, and also I'm a facilitator, sir.
Okay. If I would ask Warden Bickham why you're not a trustee, will you tell me the same thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are we going to discuss what I think is the reason that you're not a trustee right now? But let's talk about your current job assignment. What is your current job assignment?
I work in the canteen as the stock clerk, sir.
A very trusted position. Okay. Let me go to your progress report. Yes. If your most current progress report said that you're housed in medium custody. Is there a reason why it's in medium instead of minimum custody one?
No, sir.
You asking me, Mr. Roche?
Yes.
He's got too much time to be a trustee. Our facility is anything under 12 years.
Okay. And why is he in minimum custody?
Sir?
Why is he in medium custody?
We have minimum, medium, and maximum, and trustee's minimum, and he's not
Okay.
eligible for that based on his time.
Great. Thank you. Okay. And you went over your programs. Your transition plan is with Ms. Connie Poston, aunt. Tell me about the transition plan.
My transition plan, I currently has a interstate compact pending, and I plan to move to Texas with my sister. And my aunt, she just was on my residency plan because the address that I had listed, It's a high crime area, and I have no desire whatsoever to be a part of those type of communities.
Okay? Now, 1 second. Let's talk about your real problem. You don't follow rules and regulations. You have 10 disciplinary write-ups, 10 disciplinary write-ups in 21 and 22. You have an abundance of aggravated disobedience, a fight. Tell me why so many disciplinary write-ups.
Well, at that time, sir, I was in a facility where the facility, you know, these facilities are full of younger guys that's younger than me. And sometimes, you know, being in prison, you're put in a position where whenever you're working for the administration and you're not living to certain people's standards, you're put in a position where some things are unavoidable. And at that time in 2021, I had been at that facility for a few years and I was looking for a new beginning, sir. And, you know, even though I went about it the wrong way and I regret it, I truly regret the behavior that I was displaying at that time, but I was really trying to get closer to a facility, closer to my family. And, you know, I just, you know, now I find myself, you know, mentoring some of those same younger guys now because, you know, I understand with me taking rehabilitative programs and changing my mindset, it helps me and allow me to deal with certain situations without, you know what I'm saying, displaying disruptive behavior.
Ms. Malone, I've been on this board for 8 years. I'm well acquainted with Raymond LaBoard. It's a good institution. Most of those inmates don't have multiple write-ups. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 aggravated disobedience within 1 year. And then after you got to Raymond, you had 2 additional write-ups in 2022. How do you explain that?
You know, it's no justification for it. You know, I apologize. I mean, you know, I work on every day is an ongoing process for me to work on my behavior, you know, and, you know, I'm a strong advocate of doing what's right. You know, you know, today I'm a changed person, sir.
Yeah.
You know,
Listen, also, a disciplinary system in DOC helps the wardens control the population. And when a person gets multiple write-ups within 1 year, a year and a half of his low eligibility date, I'm concerned because you're being watched 24 hours a day. And you still not following the rules. In aggravated disobedience, it's a very serious infraction. And if we release individuals who are constantly breaking the rules, it sends the wrong message. And I'm going to tell you very frankly, I cannot vote for your early release because of your disciplinary conduct. It's unacceptable. I'd like to see at least 2 or 3 years where you're right up free and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. Mr. Veloso, you have an excellent record of programs. You have 825 hours of good time. You've taken all the basic programs, but your conduct is not acceptable. I want you to, I'm only one vote. But if we deny you today, I want you to continue doing what you're doing and stay right up free for another 12 months and then reapply. Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rocho. Mr. Melanson, did you, when you were in where you got all the write-ups, did you ever write for a geographical transfer? Did you write a letter?
Yes, ma'am. I did write a letter.
How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
times?
I wrote it once. I wrote it twice, ma'am. Twice.
Well, don't you think you could have used better decision-making and to intentionally get the write-ups to effect a transfer?
Yes, ma'am. And I gratefully
You see that now, but I do note that since you've been there at Rayburn, you've had 2 low court write-ups.
yes, ma'am.
So you still got to work on it, but you're doing better. Warden Bickham, is there anything you want to add?
Pretty much covered everything. He is, he did have 2 write-ups here for being in the wrong dorm. He is one of our facilitators for some of our classes, and he's working on getting to be a certified mentor.
Good, thank you. All right, we have some folks that I didn't recognize early on that have joined us and want to speak. We have Mr. Melanson's sister, Micaiah Melanson. We'd like to hear from you now. Is your microphone on mute? There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trying to do 2 things at one time. My son just graduated from.
Congratulations. Good.
Thank you. Okay.
What do you want us to know?
Okay. So thank you. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today in regards of my brother matter. Honorable members of the parole board today. My name is Micaiah Melanson, and I will be speaking out today to address the matter of my brother Raymond Melanson's parole. I want to make it abundantly clear that I hold my brother accountable for his actions. Despite never having experienced incarceration myself or fully understanding its realities, while I may lack firsthand knowledge of prison life, I firmly believe in giving my brother a chance at redemption and rehabilitation. I am hopeful that the parole board will also extend him this opportunity. I recognize the importance of his potential role in mentoring my 16-year-old and 13-year-old sons, but I want to assure you that I will not go easy on him. Again, I will not go easy on him. I understand the significance of setting appropriate boundaries, expectations, and consequences. My primary objective is to ensure that my brother comprehends the gravity of his past actions and fully understands the responsibility he holds in being a positive influence on my children as well as his own children. I kindly request the parole board's consideration in granting my brother the opportunity to prove himself, to demonstrate his commitment to change, and to contribute positivity to society. With the right support and guidance, I believe he can make a meaningful difference in the life of others. And I think he have learned from his past mistakes. Thank you for listening to my statement.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your input.
No problem.
We also have Mr. Melanson's daughter, Rochelle Dorsey. Rochelle, would you like to speak now?
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good.
I just wanted to say thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to speak on my dad's behalf. And this is a sad moment for me, and it's a happy moment because I haven't seen my dad in years. It's so sad to see him wasn't able to see me walk across the stage for graduation, and I also just got my license in dental assistance. And even though I'm able to talk to him every day, but I will appreciate if he gets to see me physically. He played a big role in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I do this to make him and my mom proud. And I'm just hoping and praying that he comes home.
Well, congratulations on your achievements, and thank you for speaking with us today. I know it means a lot to your dad too.
Thank you.
And Mr. Carter, Arthur Carter, a friend, would you like to speak now?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. My name is Arthur Carter. I'm formerly incarcerated, and I was incarcerated with Raymond. And I want to introduce Raymond to you because way back in 2012, 2013, we was housed in Louisiana State Penitentiary in Angola. And we had a class where we wasn't doing nothing but teaching guys post-conviction articles. What I want to bring to this board attention is what Malone brought to us. He brought us an opportunity to kind of like examine ourselves and make the correct decision. We started taking cases and reading them way greater than just the dictum and the issues. We read on what the propensity of the case was. Why honorable judges like Ms. Johnson would write, in her opinion, things that she would write. The successorial interest, the penal interest, the public safety. But anyway, at the end of the day, we began to kind of like reflect on activities that we were involved in. Activity that was acceptable in the communities that we were in. You guys already know what's wrong and what's right. But a lot of times we just mold into situations that even things are wrong are so socially accepted. But this is the thing that these classes were involved in. And Malone didn't just teach the class for just himself or just a few group of people. He opened the class for the whole main prison. And we enjoyed being in the class. In fact, one of the products of the class was restructuring and authoring a bill that allowed people to get their prison time before waiting 15 years for going up for the pardon board. These are the things that we did every Saturday night and all through the year. But unfortunately, like what Malone bringing to the table, he was transferred from Angola because he didn't have a life sentence. And 15 years as being a disciplinary counsel in Angola is no excuse for getting a write-up, but boy, I hope the board don't base their decision on a transformation Malone made based on going into new environments. I never had experience in the 35 years I spent in prison. I spent it all there. But I could imagine with my excellent conduct record, I could imagine how it would be if I had to go from one institution to the next. You know, things like that could come up. But if Malone was still and just stayed in Angola, he'd probably be right on free. You know, just making adjustments and then going in front of the board. But the last thing I want to say to the board is that before Act 122, before any reasonable possibility of freedom, Malone was working on transformation. No incentive whatsoever. And you look at his jacket and you can see all the beautiful rehabilitation activities he got. Man, he's been trying to better himself. And just like Mr. Rochon brought to the table about being a fourth felony offender, it just gets to a point where you just get tired of doing the same thing.
Wrap it up for us. You need to wrap it up.
All right, I'll wrap it up. And I thank y'all. Give me the opportunity to speak.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mr. Myers, can you just give us a brief statement about the Parole Project support?
Yes, ma'am. Kerry Myers' Parole Project. If this board would grant Mr. Malonson his parole and let the board know that we will provide case management services in the New Orleans area. While he won't be a residential client, our case manager, our reentry specialist, Edward Johnson in New Orleans, will provide him reentry services.
Okay, thank you. And now we'd like to hear from the DA's office.
Good afternoon, Randy Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. If we're opposed at this time, he's got a poor supervision record, a pretty extensive criminal history. It includes a number of different drug offenses, as well as batteries and domestic abuse. Looking at his risk assessment, it does show moderate for substance abuse, depression, and education. And it's a moderate for substance abuse, and he contends he's only smoked some marijuana. When you look at the drug history, the criminal history, it's suggesting there's other things involved as well. And then the main thing is his disciplinary report. 2 reports in 22, and I think 8 in 2021 is in from our position, our perspective is just not acceptable. And not with that in his poor supervision record, we think he'd be a very poor candidate for parole. So we're opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate the DA's input. Mr. Mawson, is there anything you want to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I just asked the board to give me an opportunity to get out and become a law-abiding citizen and a dedicated father, son, brother, neighbor, friend, and uncle. Thank you and happy holidays.
Thank you. Mr. Roche?
Executive session, Madam Chairman.
Second. We have a motion second for executive session. Can you do the roll call?
Chair.
Yes.
Alvin Roche.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Mawson, we have a unanimous vote for executive session to discuss confidential matters. So stand by. We'll be back with you just momentarily.
A few minutes later.
All right, Mr. Mawson, we're back in regular session. It's 12:42. We're prepared to vote. Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Mr. Mawson, based on a general disciplinary conduct that is totally unacceptable in 2021 and 2022, I'm denying your request.
Mrs. Jackson.
And Ms. Malonson, I'm hopeful for you. You've done some really good programming. You facilitate classes, but you've got to be authentic in what you do. You can't just teach one thing, but then do something else. When you deliberately get write-ups so that you could get transferred, that shows you're not applying the things that you're teaching to your own situation. I think you're close. I think you've already gone a year without a write-up, and I think that's positive. You've got good programming. I think you're going to get there. I just don't think today is the day. I think you need a longer period of time without write-ups, and I think you can do that. I think you're fully capable of conforming to the rule and presenting yourself in a totally different situation the next time you apply. So my vote today is going to be to deny because of the write-ups, but also to encourage you to keep doing the things that you're doing, stop getting write-ups, and apply when you're eligible. And I think you'll get a different outcome.
Mr. Mawson, I couldn't agree more with my colleagues. I was disappointed in the write-ups because you do have a good record in terms of your program opportunities that you've taken advantage of. I do believe you're at a spot now where that won't be an issue for you. Take advantage of whatever Warden Bickham has to offer for you. Continue working hard. My vote today is to deny based on your history of revocation, your conduct history, and of course the opposition that's been expressed. But you got a little more work to do. Reapply when you're eligible. I think you'll have a different outcome if you keep your clean record. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Warden Bickham, that concludes our business at your facility. We're going to sign off at 12:45. Thanks for accommodating us.
Y'all have a Merry Christmas.